Not going to be out filming this. Gonna have to get out this wind. Whew, that's better. 50 odd mile an hour winds. I think it's Stormisha. Lovely bit of shelter here though. And what a view. So I hadn't actually planned on making a video today, but in the last video I did a little bit of map and compass work. Wasn't an instruction or anything like that, but I've had a few comments on it, and this one here particularly got underneath my skin a little bit. Your map reading demonstration is actually dangerous. Dangerous, really? As you fail to adjust for magnetic deviation. They go on to say, I've had to use a map and compass during heavy mist on Kinder Scout, join the club, and pace count to keep constant check on location. So I thought I'd better address some of the comments and explain exactly what I did and why I did it in that video. So this is the map that I use. It's the Peak District Dark Peak OL number 1. It's one of the active maps, so it's got like a waterproof coating on it as well. And in the video I took a compass bearing from where I was at Kinder Low over to the true summit of Kinder Scout. This is the compass I was using. It's just a silver, I think it's a classic compass, I can't remember the exact name of it. Pretty basic, and as most people know, the red arrow on a compass always points north. However, it's not quite as straightforward as that, because there are actually 3 norths to consider. A compass always points to magnetic north, which is a magnetic field which is around the North Pole area, but it does actually move, so that's constantly shifting. So depending what year you're in, it might point in a very slightly different location. However, you don't need to worry about that in a minute. The second north is true north, which is the very top of the globe. And then you've got to consider map north or grid north. So all of these lines here are heading up to north on the map, or on the grid as it's called. So these grid lines are actually only put on here to make map reading easier. If they were on a globe, for example, they would all like curve in a little bit. But what they do is they get a section of map area, they put a flat grid on top of it, and then that gives you what is known as your map grid north. So depending where you are in the world, today I'm in the Peak District, these 3 separate norths, they tend not to line up perfectly. So maybe the magnetic north is offset by an X amount of degrees, depending where you are anyway. I will put a link in the description for a much better explanation of this. Putting it into a little more simple terms, sometimes, depending where you are in the world, you need to make an adjustment from what magnetic north is to what the grid north is on your map. And that's called magnetic declination or deviation, whatever you want to call it. So I'm going to quickly go over again what some people said I did was dangerous. I was trying to navigate from Kinder Low trig point here over to the true summit of Kinder Scout. So in order to take a bearing, what I did was I put this edge of the compass from the location that I was, and then I put the other side of the compass. Let me see if I can do it here. Kinder Low. So basically I was putting the line from Kinder Low to the summit of Kinder Scout. And once I'd done that, you have to get these, I can't remember the name of them, they are like compass north lines, and they have to line up going forwards with the grid north on the map. And you can adjust this little bezel here, so we'll go again, Kinder Low to Kinder Scout, and we'll line that up there. And that gave me a bearing of 61 degrees. And then all I had to do was rotate the compass round until both of these red arrows lined up. Where are we? Like that. And then that would have given me the direction that I needed to go in a straight line to the summit of Kinder. So I'd be walking on a straight bearing of 61 degrees. So map reading and navigation is a little bit more complicated than that. You can't always walk in a direct straight line. However, I was on a plateau which was pretty flat, so snow everywhere. It was a straightforward task of walking 710 meters. As you can see, on the side of the compass there are little measuring things like a ruler. There we go. This isn't going to be a map reading lesson, but you may need to make multiple bearings from say there to there, and then from there to there, and then from there to there. And you can roughly measure out those distances by paces or by how long it takes you at a certain speed. So I normally walk around 2.5 miles per hour, so I can work out roughly how long it's going to take me to get to a certain spot, or it's 68 paces roughly to do 100 meters, and that's normally on a flatter sort of terrain, so that may alter if I'm going up something steep. So the bit that was so-called dangerous was that I didn't make an adjustment for the magnetic deviation or declination on my compass bearing. So on every map legend or key, there is a magnetic deviation showing you what the difference is for the particular location that you're in. So at the time that this map was created, which was 2019, it does also say here that the magnetic north was estimated at 1 degree west of the grid. So I would need to have a magnetic declination or deviation of 1 degree west. However, due to the constant movement of the magnetic pole, there's an annual change of approximately, I think that is 12 minutes east. So you can also go online to find out what the latest magnetic declination is for your area. So for Edel, where I was, the declination was 0.06 degrees, which is nothing. You can't even see 0.06 degrees on the compass. It's probably less than one of the thicknesses of the lines. So for this part of the world that I'm in, I don't need to make an adjustment for magnetic deviation because it's 0.06 degrees, which is nothing. So over a distance of 710 meters, which this was, you know, the variance from the arc calculation from 0.06 degrees was less than 3/4 of a meter. So over that distance, I'd still be able to find a pound coin if I got the distance right. But in other parts of the world, the magnetic declination is a lot higher, so the error, if I hadn't made the adjustment, would be a lot greater. So Calgary, for example, over in Canada is around 13.5 degrees magnetic declination, and if I didn't make an adjustment, then over the 710 meters of distance, I would be around 165 meters out when it came to the location. So I can see why some people say that it's important, and it is, but for me, I don't need to do it where I am. We're quite fortunate in the UK that our magnetic declination is pretty much on the button with grid north. The further east or west that you go, you may need to make a slight adjustment of 0.5 degree or 1 degree if you want to do that. But if you're making regular bearings or taking regular bearings over shorter distances, you're not going to really notice it, to be honest with you. So today I'm on this little hill called Higator. I'm going to take another bearing. I'm going to go to the top in a minute in the wind, and we're going to take a bearing over to the trig point over on Stanage Edge, just to prove again that what I did wasn't dangerous at all. So this is Higator, and that is Stanage Edge trig point. So I'm going to line up the compass again and these little lines in the middle. Here we go. And we get up to the top edge where I've took the bearing line from. And then when we line that red in the shed, point the direction arrow and it will be pointing directly at the trig point, which we should be able to see. So just for the record, that bearing is 323 degrees ish. So you can't see sometimes to the exact degree. So 0.06 degrees for declination, pointless. Right, let's see if our dangerous bearing is any good. Tell you what is dangerous though. When you come onto YouTube, there's lots of information out there. If you take everything that you hear as gospel, then sometimes you could end up making a few mistakes. I am not an expert in any way, shape or form when it comes to map reading. Probably the best that I've come across on YouTube for that is the map reading company. I will put a link in the description to the channel. I don't know the fella's name, but he is brilliant when it comes to map reading, compasses, all of the information. Very entertaining and very knowledgeable. It does seem that everyone in the comments is an expert though. So if you want a real masterclass, you're probably better off reading comments rather than watching videos. Bloody windy. Right, we've had to take shelter behind this rock so we can maybe get some kind of audio. We've got the compass out, we've got the map secured, we've got the compass red arrows lined up in the centre, and then you've got the direction arrow there, and then right in the centre, see if I can zoom in, you've got the trig point. Simple, perfect for the Peak District without any magnetic declination adjustment. Right, I'm going to get off this little hill before I get blown off it. Thanks for watching. Make sure to check out the map reading company, link in the description. Brilliant information, great skills to have. And remember, don't believe everything that you see on the internet.